Hey there, Mr. Reddit here. Welcome back to another episode of r/entitled Parent Stories. Our first story we'll be reading today. Oh, okay, I'll move the truck, Mom. After that, my entitled uncle yells at my dad to let him plug in his PS4. And after that, am I the jerk for being frustrated that my girlfriend doesn't work hard at her job and gets paid nearly twice as much as I do? Now for every thumbs up this video gets, one Karen slams her finger shut in the car door. Are we really doing this right now? So please smash that like button. And if you're new, subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories from Reddit every single day. Oh, okay, I'll move the truck, Mom. I am a 22-year-old female. I live with my parents, but I'm moving out in a couple of weeks, so my mother and I have been bumping heads a lot. The biggest thing we fight about is my clothes and my sleep. Recently, it's been more about my sleep than anything else. I go into work at 2 p.m. every day at my full-time job, so I'm there relatively late. When I get home, I like to decompress, play video games, watch TV, work out, and make something light to eat. I don't always do all of these things in the same day, but what I'm getting at is I stay up late. I get off around 11, home by 11:15, and I won't go to sleep until around 3 or 4 in the morning. The latest being 4 if I'm with my boyfriend. She wakes me up every day from between 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., but it's never just once. She'll do it 2 to 4 times in the morning until I can't go back to sleep and I'm mad. She doesn't even wake me up for important things. It's either to complain at me or make me do something for her. I've asked her time and time again to stop waking me up. I have a hard time going back to sleep. Could you please just let me sleep until 11 a.m. and when I'm up, I'll do what you need me to do. But she never listens. Well, currently she's been having work done on her house. The workers are in their final stages, so they're just painting the house. Well, once again, she woke me up at 7:30 a.m. today by barging into my room to move her truck because the workers are here. I groan, get up, and throw on a nightgown she doesn't like. We've had several fights about this nightgown because it's short, even though it's long enough to cover everything it needs to. I looked at myself in the mirror and thought about changing, but instead I smirked and thought to myself, if you can't respect my boundaries, why am I going to respect yours? I keep the nightgown on. I walk out of my room, move the truck, and go back inside. As soon as she sees me while I'm walking back to my room, she starts screaming. Catwang uterus, you went outside like that? Why do you hate me? She's standing in front of me, trying to block my way from going to my room. I duck underneath her arms and ignore her. My mother starts following me while yelling about me living with her and my father, so I can't be dressing like that around their house, especially when my father and working men are around. I get into my room, close the door, and I'm about to lay back down, and she swings my door open, still trying to argue with me. I can't believe you would embarrass me like that. Put on some clothes. We're talking. I laugh in her face and close the door on her. She attempts to reopen the door, so I grab the handle. I'm not allowed locks on my door. Dude, no, we're not even talking. You're just yelling. The truck is moved. Please leave me alone. She starts sobbing about how everyone is so mean to her. She hates her life and stomps off to call my dad to complain about me. Have you ever had someone wake you up when you were trying to sleep? If so, what did you do about it? Please let us know. I dare you to wake me up when I'm trying to sleep. I guarantee you'll regret it. My entitled uncle yells at my dad to let him plug in his PS4. Backstory. My uncle was the youngest. He wasn't spoiled like how most younger siblings are. He was actually seen as the disappointment. He did bad things and had a bad attitude his entire life. My dad always felt bad for him, so he let him get away with a lot. On to the story. My uncle and 3 cousins and one of my cousin's new babies all came to visit a little after Christmas in 2016. I was excited to see them considering they had moved to Montana a while back, and this is my first time seeing them in a while. Everyone gets there, and the first thing I hear from my uncle is, "When can I play in my PlayStation?" Not a single hello or how are you, just that. My dad tried to be nice and say hi first, but my uncle said, "Where can you plug in my PlayStation? I need to plug it in." My dad told him he could plug it into the TV in the living room. My uncle plugged everything in and talked to his online friends instead of his own family for 30 to 45 minutes. Everyone was getting to know my cousin's almost year-old baby at this point. We were also chatting about life during this time, and I found out something shocking. Turns out, my uncle has been living in a constant state of fear and paranoia to the point where he doesn't go outside. He was constantly scared he was going to have a seizure when he was outside and didn't want to risk it. He didn't even have a job. His wife worked 2 jobs to pay for food and housing while her husband stayed home and played video games. I was already mad at the fact that he had put the video games on and was playing them over hanging out with my family, but after hearing that, it was insane. About 1 hour later, my uncle turns off his PlayStation, then goes over to my dad and asks, "Can we order some pizza?" My dad says sure, because we were all hungry. My dad was about to order what we normally get, pepperoni and sausage pizza, when my uncle says, "Can we also get vegetarian? I'm trying to watch my weight." My dad agreed since he was very helpful on losing weight. However, with the grease of the cheese on the vegetables, it's not going to be that healthy. The food came, and when he was done eating, he went back to his video games. It was so sad to see that he was with his family and didn't really seem to care. My dad, of course, noticed I was upset when everyone was gone. He asked me what it was, and I told him, "I know he's your brother, and you want to be nice, but he's not a kid. He needs to spend time with family before he regrets it." My dad said that if something like this ever happened again, he would shut it down. Am I the jerk for being frustrated that my girlfriend doesn't work hard at her job and gets paid nearly twice as much as I do? My girlfriend and I both work in tech. She's a safety validator for software, working at a consulting firm, and I'm doing network infrastructure support. When we both worked in different offices, I didn't know much about her day-to-day life at work. I knew she made a lot more than me, $120,000 to my $66,000, and she credits a lot of that to her job hopping. She's 25 and has had 3 full-time jobs since college. I've been at one place since college. But since we've been working from home, I've seen a lot of her daily schedule, and hers versus mine are really different. She gets up at 9:15 to drag herself into the home office for her 9:30 to 10 daily meeting. After the meeting, she goes and showers and has breakfast from about 10 to 10:45, answering a few Slack messages and emails on her phone, but mostly just listening to podcasts and eating and doing her morning routine. Then she works till noon and takes a lunch break from noon till 1. Then she works from 1 to 4, often having meetings or working on her own stuff. And at 4, we'll spend an hour or so doing household chores and stuff while keeping an eye on her phone to answer emails. And outside of 9 to 5, she blocks work-related messages from her phone. So basically, she actually works about 4.5 hours daily and then does her own thing for about 2 hours, just paying enough attention to reply to emails that come in. I basically work non-stop, 8:30 to 5 or 6 p.m., working 8.5 to 9.5 hours a day. I don't take breaks in the workday to shower or eat breakfast and lunch or do household chores. And a few weeks ago, I kinda got frustrated with her for basically hardly doing anything for her job at all, and that they were overpaying her if she was spending half the day slacking. She got frustrated with me and said that they hired her for her knowledge and it wasn't my place to say what her time was worth. That if her boss and CEO saw the work she produced and chose to pay her what they chose to pay her, that it wasn't my place to undervalue her because I was being jealous, and that she picked her job instead of one that might pay better because she wanted a good work-life balance. She was sick of wasting her life away at work that was a lot more demanding. I said that she was being a little privileged. Not a lot of people can choose to make 6 figures and wander off from work for practically half the day, and that all I was saying was that she was working half as hard as a lot of people who earn a lot less. She got mad at me and said that it's not up to me to decide what her time is worth. Am I the jerk for what I said about my girlfriend's work ethic? Well, what do you think? Is OB the jerk or not? Please let us know. You jelly bro? Fine, we can play it that way if you want. I sell cars. I also work for a very corporate-run dealership that has a lot of rules, and depending on the level of management, depends on their ability to discount, blah blah blah. I've also been with this dealer for a really long time, so I know how to play the game. It can be a hassle at times, but if you learn how to play your cards right, you can take advantage of their rules. Now, we have a rule. Once a new car hits 90 days, we start doing 2 things. We offer a bonus to the salesperson who sells it. We discount the car to move it. The idea is we want to move our old inventory first. So I'm chilling and I get a call. A guy is on a business trip and he says he sees we got a truck he likes. I look it up and I notice it's been on our lot for over 140 days. It doesn't have a clearance discount on it. I give him the price I'm able to, and he asks me if I have any wiggle room since it's a 2020 and not a 2021. I go, would 500 do it? He counters me roughly another 200 to bring it below a certain price point. I ask, if I agree, will you give me a deposit right now? He goes, yeah. I go, you know what? Yeah, I'll do it. Let's do a deal. Now the reason why I said $500 is because I know it's the maximum amount my sales manager can discount a vehicle without approval. When he countered me above that, I knew it was going to be a fight to get the deal accepted, but I figured giving a customer a $700 discount is better than giving him a $2,000 clearance discount. We do the deal, he signs it, I send the deal up for approval. My manager yells at me, tells me I can't do the discount. I explain that it's an aged unit. It's supposed to have a clearance discount, and it doesn't, so we should just do it. He says customer has to agree to a higher price. I go, fine, I'll talk to him. So I walk outside, play on my phone, answer some emails, come back, and go. Customer says honor the deal or refund him his money. Manager goes, can't do it, refund the money. I go, okie dokie. So I don't refund the money, but I drop the unit back in stock. I call up a higher level manager and point out that he messed up and didn't do anything about this aged inventory. He thanks me for pointing it out and says we'll do $1,500 off and see how quick it sells. I ask, what about a bonus? He goes, if you sell it, I'll give you a $150 bonus. I go, fantastic. Now I work for a dealer that doesn't pay me a percentage, but a set amount per car, so this discount isn't cutting into my commission. I call the customer up and I say, hey, Mr. Customer, I didn't notice it, but this morning, the truck you did a deposit on was included in the clearance list. I'm going to give you a clearance discount, and your price is now approximately $800 lower. Customer is super happy, thinks I'm the best guy ever. I'm smiling because I just made an extra $150. Later that afternoon, my manager comes in and goes, Sting, did you drop the truck back in stock? I said, no, customer is going to buy it. He goes, oh, he agreed to a higher price? I smile and go, nope. I got a clearance discount on it. My manager smirks at me and goes, you got a bonus too, didn't you? I smiled and said, sure did. Malicious compliance is my dealership refused to do the common sense thing and give a customer a $700 manager discount. So instead, they gave him a $1,500 clearance discount and a $150 bonus. Am I the jerk for not using my daughter's college fund to support my future grandchild? I, 45, female, have been a single mother to my daughter, who's 18, ever since her father passed when she was a baby. It was hard pulling us through, but we made it. I finished my degree, earned a nice job with a high salary, and we now live comfortable. One of my priorities was setting aside a college fund for my daughter. Her father had started one when he found out I was pregnant, and I chose to add on to it once he passed. When she was 17, I sat down with her and told her that once she's ready for college, to not worry because I and her dad had saved up enough money for her education. I told her this money could go towards tuition, housing, food, books, etc. She planned on moving into an apartment in the same state as the school and attending some online classes and some in person. Anything to make her college life comfortable and fun, I was willing to offer. I wanted the best for her because when I went to college, I struggled financially. She was grateful and thanked me. Obviously, lockdown has made school different for everyone, and senior year of high school was difficult for her. But she was still accepted into one of the top schools in the nation, USA, and I was so proud of her. 4 days ago, she set me down and told me that she was pregnant. I was shocked and figured it was an accident. She's due in September, right when school starts. That meant we had to back out signing a lease for her future apartment and would have to stay home to raise the baby. Starting college with a newborn would have been a challenge, but doable, so I accepted it. Until later that night, I overheard, not eavesdropped, her conversation with her boyfriend. She told her boyfriend not to worry about supporting the baby. She would just use her college money for it. I also heard that she had been lying to me. Turns out, she decided to stop taking the pill simply because she wanted to switch to a different one, but she didn't tell me. So for the past 3 months, she hasn't been taking it. If she wanted to switch to another method, I would have supported it. Next night, I told her that she and her boyfriend would have to find a way to support the baby because her college fund was for college only. She broke down, asking me how she was going to manage to support her baby when she nor her boyfriend had a job. I told her she should have thought about that before getting herself into this situation. She called me a horrible mother and grandmother because I was setting them up for failure. I told her that I had set her up for success, yet she chose the route, which made things difficult for her. She told some other family members, and they are saying that I'm the jerk and should think of the child. I replied that while I love my grandchild, I plan on staying firm about the college fund, but now I'm unsure. Am I the jerk? Well, what do you think? Is OP the jerk or not? Please let us know. Oh, I can't wait to see what our audience thinks about this one. To Karen's husband, whose name isn't Chad. Thank you so much for stopping the rant we both know she was building up to. You are a true hero. Now on with the story. This happened a few moments ago. I'm in the kitchen filling up the cleanser so I can spray my lobby down. I walk out carrying 2 spray jugs since no one else mixes any when they use it up. There's Karen and her husband, not Chad, standing in the lobby looking around, wondering where the night audit is. Me. Good morning, how are you today? Karen gives me a blank stare. Not Chad. Good morning to you. Karen. I want to check out. Me. We can make that happen for you. What's your room number? Karen. This is my room number. Me. Give me a moment and I'll get you some paper airplane material. Are you guest names here? And did you sleep well? Karen, debating on if she should let me have it, decides for the moment I'm not worth it. I slept just fine till you checked someone in the room next door. Me. Well, I do apologize that you were disturbed, but I only checked one guest in. That was at midnight and they were on the opposite side of the hotel. Karen. Whatever. Give me my receipt. I hand over the receipt and she stares at it for 10 minutes, then starts to walk out the door, stops and turns around. This isn't me. I said this room number. Room right next door. Me. Oh, I do apologize. It's for the room she originally told me, but I'll take this on the chin. Karen. Why did they pay less? Me. You both paid through Hooking, so I don't have an answer for you on that. Hooking is a separate third-party organization that sets its own prices, and we do not change them at all. Not Chad breaks in as Karen's face starts to turn an ugly shade of red. I don't care. Get in the car, Karen. It's not worth arguing over $2. Karen at this point is visibly debating on if she should let us both have it, but Not Chad has left the building, so she rushes out to get in the car. Thanks, Not Chad, and thanks for taking one for the hotel front desk team. We appreciate your efforts. Am I the jerk for not letting my employee cut down her hours? I own my own company and have a dozen employees. Our hours of operation are 7:30 to 6. Not every employee works a full day. Most don't. At least once a week, everyone gets a chance to cut out by 3. Not all on the same day, but everyone gets a turn. One of my employees came to me last week and said that their kid's school has gone remote for the remainder of the year. They asked to change their hours to 10 to 4:30 every day as their spouse works early mornings and doesn't get home until 9:30. I said yes, she could start at 10, but to keep benefits, she had to remain full-time. That means working 10 to 6 every day, as that'll just get her to 40 hours a week. I also said she couldn't have an early day anymore, as that would also take her out of full-time hours. She got mad and said that hours were flexible. I said start times are flexible for those that come in by 8. If I let her leave at 4:30 every day, someone else wouldn't get an early day, and that's not fair to them when they get here every day at 7 to 7:30. I asked if she had a reason to need to leave at 4:30, such as childcare, appointment, etc. I have kids, I get it. She said no, she wanted to limit her hours and keep her benefits. She proposed working 10 to 4:30 3 times a week and 10 to 2:30 on the other 2 days. That would leave her at 22.5 hours a week, factoring in her 30-minute break on those long days. This schedule just isn't fair to other people, leaving me without coverage if I did still let others leave early. Basically, this ended with her agreeing to work 10 to 6 every workday. As she was leaving, she made a comment how I don't get being a mom. I'm a single mom. She's also one of the 6 employees that also have kids and managed to figure it out, or they're part-time because they can't. Am I being the jerk here? My employee has been short with me ever since we had this talk. Edit. There has been the same misinformation repeating. It is rare anyone but me, the boss, works 7:30 to 6. If an employee comes in at 7:30, they leave at 2:30. We're simply operating as a company from 7:30 to 6. The later you come in, the later you stay, like any job. For example, I have one employee that starts at 9 a.m. He leaves at 6. Employee in my story had the same schedule for years. I cannot control part-time not getting insurance. My employees pay a percentage through their checks, and I have investors that pay the remainder, but they only pay for full-time employees. I have 8 full-time employees, 4 part-time. It's what we're budgeted for. The issue is not them wanting to be part-time. If they were okay with losing benefits, I'd let them do so and hire someone to cover the slack. They're not okay with losing benefits. Everyone starts out at $20 an hour with yearly raises. And finally, yes, I'm aware 30+ hours is the norm for benefits. It's just at this company, people are either working 40 hours or they work less than 25. There's no real in between. Am I the jerk for correcting my boyfriend's friend? My boyfriend, 25, wanted to introduce me, 22, female, to a couple of his friends, around 25, all male, earlier this week. I already knew his closest friends, The ones I'm talking about here are a little more in the bigger circle. We set up a Skype call, just me and my boyfriend. We live together. A few other guys, and one dude I'm gonna call Mike. Two things you need to know. They're all pretty big nerds. Marvel, DC, video games, Star Wars, Star Trek, you name it. They know and love it. 2. I'm not that much of a nerd, but I know my stuff when it comes to Star Wars. I don't mean to brag, but my knowledge is very extensive. So we were talking. Everything was going smoothly. Somehow, the conversation shifts to Star Wars and how Palpatine was able to turn Anakin to the dark side, and Mike says that he finds it a little exaggerated to love a woman that much that you betray your best friend in order to protect her. In an attempt to have a conversation, I answer, I'd go to extreme lengths too if I had already lost my mother. He laughed and told me that Shmi had nothing to do with Anakin's fall. I said that it's in the novel, and in the movie too, I think, that Anakin was already distraught that he had to leave Shmi behind. He had visions of Shmi dying, and it happened, and then he had visions of Padme dying, and he would have done everything in his power to make sure that that did not happen. It went a little back and forth that way. My boyfriend and the other guys were completely silent at this point. Then Mike said the following, and I quote,
Look, you're a girl. You don't know Star Wars as well as we do. You're wrong, and now shut it, and make your boyfriend a sandwich.
That last part was probably supposed to be a joke, but I was not having it. I told him that he was an idiot if he really believed that my gender had anything to do with my knowledge on the topic and that I expected a sincere apology from him. He laughed. I ended the call in response, and my evening was ruined. My boyfriend looked it up and later told me that not only I was right, but I also did the right thing. Mike brought this down to a personal level, and his joke was crossing a line. He supports my side completely. So far, so good. This morning, I told my best friend what happened, and she got a little annoyed. She told me that I should not have called him a name and that I should have just sucked it up if I wanted to actually make friends. And now I'm really unsure about my behavior. She's right that I should not have called him a name, but am I the jerk for not keeping my mouth shut? Well, what do you think? Is OP the jerk here, or is Mike? Please let us know. How long do you think this guy's neckbeard is? Block my pay because, as per your instruction, I violated the rules? Enjoy having your own income reduced. This all happened a few years back when I was in high school and distributing bundles of weekly advertising brochures around a neighborhood as a means to earn some spending money. What is important to note is that I did not work directly for the company that made these bundles. Instead, there was the middleman who was also paid by the company and who oversaw multiple neighborhoods in my area. When I got my first stack of bundles, in total this would be around 80 kilograms of paper, I noticed that I had a lot of leftovers after doing my round. This is because here in the Netherlands, you cannot put advertisements in someone's mailbox when they have a no advertisement sticker on it. I informed the middleman of this, asking if I could tell him how many bundles were left over, and he could make sure I got less of them. His response was that I would need to do a check of the sticker on my route and report the exact addresses that did not want to receive the advertisements. I realized that this would cost me a lot of time and asked if this would be paid. His response was that I would not get paid for this and that my total pay would also decrease as I would be delivering fewer bundles. But then he said, you can also just dump them in the paper trash. That also works. I'm guessing that he preferred that option as it would save him some administrative work and because he probably also would have his earnings lowered by the main company, then the surplus would be reported. This would probably also spark some questions as to the situation on the other routes he was responsible for. So, doing as he told me, once a month when the paper trash was collected, I put the leftovers in the bin, and that was that. Sometimes our own bin would be too full, so I'd put them in another bin that was already on the street, as we do not pay per weight that is collected. This would not hurt the neighbors at all. This went on for about a year without any problems. The company, and especially this dude, were huge pains in the butt, delivering far too late for me to complete my route, and forgetting when I was not available, resulting in them having to pick up all bundles from my house again after delivering them to me, and then getting mad because they forgot that I was not available. One day, my neighbors also started working for this company and this dude, and they noticed some bundles in the trash. They told this dude, and here it comes. He blocked my pay and said I was fired immediately. The part that I was fired actually was fine with me. I quit 2 weeks prior, so I only had 2 weeks to go. So I got out sooner than I expected, which was nice. The part about blocking my pay annoyed me. He said that I violated the rules, but I pointed out that I just followed his rules. After some messaging back and forth, he did not reply for a while. That's when I decided to dial up the main company, who were in charge of paying out the salaries. I explained the whole story, including my instruction to dump the bundles to them. They apologized and made sure I was paid out. When I told this to the middleman, he was quite upset. I can only imagine the amount of crap he must have gotten from the main company for his behavior. I know that my neighbors had to do a check of all the addresses after I left, so he probably had everyone do the check and saw his pay fall by a considerable margin. Probably 20%, as that was what was left over every week. Karen flips out that I won't get her a pair of shoes. Hello everybody. Never expected to be posting here, so this just happened a few hours ago now, and I still can't get over the absurdity of it all. Since lockdown has happened, I've been going on walks every day so I can get exercise. Also because I need to walk my dogs. I don't have a lot of shoes as I don't have a lot of money, and so I try to limit excessive amounts of stuff. Lockdown has been really relaxed in my country as the cases are only average. I recently sold some old tech so that I could get some money to buy some new shoes, as my old shoes have a few holes in the sole. I managed to make around 80 pounds from selling, and so I was going to buy some decent shoes that wouldn't wear out. Now to get into the story. I had gone to Sports Direct to get a nice pair of shoes, as I know they have some really good deals on at the moment near me. Now, the uniform for Sports Direct is a black polo shirt with white stripes and the logo on the back, an optional hoodie, and any pair of dark trousers or jeans, preferably black. I had decided to wear my Adidas polo shirt that my dad had given me, since it didn't fit him anymore, with a pair of maroon jeans, along with my very worn-out shoes. I had found a pair of walking boots that were pretty expensive, and I was having a look at them, asked about them, but then found they didn't have my size, so I went to go put it back on the shelf. Enter Karen. Karen spinning me around by the shoulder. "Excuse me?" in that typical snotty tone. "I've been waiting for ages for service. Now, do you have these shoes in a size 6? Me, obviously alarmed. "Sorry, can you please not touch me? And also, I don't know if this store does." Karen scoffing. "What the heck do you mean you don't know if the store does? It's your duty to know. Now, go serve me and check to see if you have a size 6. Me, no, it's really not. Also, where's your mask? It's mandatory to wear one in stores, you know. Karen, no. I can't wear a mask. I can't breathe. It covers my nose. How would I be able to breathe? Just get me my size 6 shoes already." Now, I was getting irritable at this point. I hadn't slept that well as it was too hot and I didn't have a fan. Oh, I forgot to mention, I'm only 15 and about 5 foot. Do you see a small problem? I have a baby face anyway, and sure, my mouth and nose was covered, but I didn't look a day past 13 at max. Me, please miss, I'm 15 years old. I'm just here to get a pair of shoes for myself. Karen, almost hissing at this point. You liar! You obviously work here. I saw you put a pair of shoes back on the shelf, and you're wearing the shirt. Don't you dare lie to me. Me, oh my god, I'm done with being polite. I've tried to tell you that I don't work here. I'm 15 years old and I'm a customer. How narcissistic are you that you think everything you think is right? Karen, mouth as wide as a snake's. How dare you speak to me like that, missy? I'll have you fired for that. Now, call your manager over with your radio. Me, looking down. Oh, look, I have no radio. Doesn't that indicate something to you? By now, the few people that were in the store were looking over, and an employee had come over. Employee, excuse me, what's going on, and how can I help? Karen, this disrespectful girl has refused to get me the shoe size I requested and is insulting me. I demand to speak to the manager and talk about getting her fired. Employee then looks to me, staring at me for a few seconds with a confused look on his face before he looked back to Karen. Employee, I'm sorry, miss, but she doesn't work here. Also, where— No. You can't just cover for your friend when she did something wrong. Get me the manager. Karen went into an absolute tantrum, stomping her foot and not listening to anybody that tried to talk to her. Reluctantly, after a few seconds, employee walked off to find his manager. Karen noticed and then looked to me with a grin that looked like she thought she had won. The floor manager then came over about a minute later, and at this point I found a pair of shoes that I was going to buy, so I was holding the shoe in my hand. Floor manager, sorry miss, I was told to come over to resolve the issue, but I'm afraid I can't have you in the store without a mask. Do you have one on you? If not, you can buy one for £2. Karen, no, I won't wear one when I can't breathe in it. Now, do something about this disrespectful girl. Karen pointed to me. Floor manager looked to me holding the shoe, then turned his attention to me. Floor manager. Hi there, did you need something? Me. I had just come here because I needed a new pair of shoes. Do you have these in a size 5? I showed him the shoe and Karen went into an absolute frenzy. Floor manager completely blanked her and went on one of his devices to see what they had in stock. Karen was going ballistic, yelling at me and the manager and the store, everybody. Floor manager. Yes, we do. Would you like to meet me at the counter? I'll get you the pair and box them for you. Floor manager had told employee to call the police to escort Karen out. And what ended up happening is that Karen not only got kicked out, she got fined for not wearing a mask too. I think she ended up going back to the police station and I ended up getting a small discount on my shoes for what I put up with. I was talking with floor manager and he ended up joking that I should work for them because of the shirt. I just need to get new trousers. That was the end of the story pretty much. I even had enough money to go to Subway nearby, so I got myself a sub, cookie, and a drink. I think I'll have to thoroughly clean my shirt though after Karen put her disgusting hands on it. Sorry this was so long. Thanks for reading this all the way through if you did. Speaking of shoes, what are your favorite kind of shoes to wear? Please let us know. Flip-flops with diamonds for the win, bruh. You definitely haven't seen this video yet, so please come watch it next and we'll see you when you get there. And please support our coffee addiction by joining as a channel member today, and we'll give you a special shout out in our next video. And to have us make any kind of video you'd like us to, just come visit us on Fiverr, link pinned in the comments below.